All right, welcome everybody. It's going to be a recap for this Wednesday and the last day of the month, May 31st, 2023. Starting off, I saw me make a trade on the mini Russell this morning. Took a short. My short came in around 9:17 in the morning. After the opening here at 9:30, it did have a run up. I was able to add on. I did do an add-on on my short. Almost reversed, but it started coming back down. I held on to the short after I did the add-on, and then it finally did come down and hit profit target. Got out of this trade around 9:48. This was actually an HF1 short, one of my favorite patterns. Everything was coming down. Also, sold an E-mini. Let me show you my results on that. All right, here's the mini Russell trade. Sold it, then I added on, got out, made a nice little profit on that of 697. Also sold the E-mini around 918. Picked a little bit up on that short. Gold was actually a carryover from the night before. I went ahead and got out of that, made a little bit of money on the gold, and then finally natural gas. Gas was in the natural gas for most of the day. Finally hit my target, went ahead and got out, made a little bit of money on natural gas. So, natural gas, I believe, was also an HF1 short. That was an HF1 on the Russell. I think I had an HF1 on the E-mini, and I think gold was actually an HF2, if I'm not mistaken, from the prior day. But anyway, nice little trade there on the indices and the commodities. Let's take a look at our stock trades. All right, so not a great day in stocks today, so I'm going to go over a couple of the trades that I took. I did have some winners, but overall, I'm red for the day on the stocks. My worst trade was on MRKR. I had a buy coming in right before the opening. I really was expecting it to really have a nice little burst to the upside. It did, but didn't quite hit my targets. I did have some resting targets up here. But it did pull back after it had that nice little burst up. It came back down, went up, came back down. I went ahead and I added down here. My add came in around 9:38. Actually entered the position at 187. Let's see, at 9:25. Added to it. Never even got close to my target. Started pulling back. I did have a stop resting down here. I did finally get out and took a loss on that. I'll show you here the loss on that in just a minute. And the other one was, let's see here, WLGS. Now, WLGS was my very first trade that I took. And then this was the second trade I took in the morning. So let's look at WLGS. Okay, same kind of scenario here. Enter pre-market here before the opening. At 9:30, I entered. First trade coming around 9:04. I did not add anything on this particular trade, and I was light. I think only had 200 shares on this trade. Double check on that, yeah. So I was pretty light on WLGS. Once again, I did have some higher targets above. I think it was above 230, 235, 240. Had some targets up here. Anyway, never got close. Right after the opening, really disappointed, just fell, and I did have a stop resting down here to hit my stop, and I was out. So overall on the stocks, those are the two losing trades I had. I lost a little bit of my JDST. Let me show you the overall results. So overall results, obviously MRKR, which I showed, which I was down 418. Also lost on my very first trade, WLGS. Took a loss of 56. It didn't have a whole lot of position on. I got hurt on MRKR because I did add to that. JDST, I just never did anything. Finally came down, worked against me, finally got out, took a loss at 244. I added on a little bit more on that. I think I had 700 shares on JDST. Got lazy on it and just never did anything. So I went and got out, took a loss. Made a little bit on BFRG. GFAI was a nice one today. Scalped a little bit out of that. LL. I scalped a little bit out of that. Same thing with TRBN, IDIA. Once again, AI stocks have been hot. Picked up a little bit on that. And then TECS, a little bit on that. CXAI, I bought a little bit of that. I'm going to carry that overnight. We'll see how that does tomorrow. So I am coming along on CXAI, so we're going to go ahead and hold on to that. That's also a AI stock. But these are all the closeout trades today. And so overall, I guess with the commodities and the indices, still ended up positive for the day, but not a very good day on stocks. That's to be expected. Had such a really good day yesterday. It's so funny that whenever you're trading and you have a really, really good day, you know, it's almost best to just kind of lighten up the next day. I think I traded a little bit too much today, really expecting the AI stocks to take off. And some did, but overall the market turned out to be fairly choppy, so I ended up getting chopped up. And but was able to manage my risk to something reasonable. So hopefully tomorrow, being a Thursday, always my favorite day to trade. Markets are usually 99% of the time really good. Last Thursday, that wasn't the case. So hopefully this Thursday will be much better. So we'll keep an eye on all of that. And that is going to wrap it up for today. Those are the trades that I'm carrying, some of the open positions that we're going to be watching for tomorrow. So these are going to be like overnight trades. Don't really track those, but we do put these out. So we're coming in looking for a short tomorrow on the US 500, looking for a sell on the small cap. Same thing on the Wall Street 30, looking for US Tech though. US Tech is actually going to be your mini NASDAQ, looking for that to be higher in the US CAD. Also looking for that to be higher. So anyway, a little bonus here. This is kind of what we're expecting to see tomorrow on the indices and on the US CAD. So we'll see how that turns out tomorrow. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up. Everybody have a good day, and we'll do another recap first thing tomorrow. Won't be doing a live show tomorrow. Got an appointment in the morning, so I won't be able to run the live show. But we will come back, do some trading, and do a recap tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. All right. Y'all have a good night.